Tesla just dropped below $400 even after a major analyst upgrade. So today, the big question is not just why did Tesla stock fall? The real question is this: is this a warning sign for Tesla investors, or is this just a short-term market reaction while Tesla's long-term story continues to build? Hi everyone, I'm Ken, and today let's break down the latest Tesla news from an investor's point of view. First, let's start with the stock price. Tesla shares fell sharply, dropping into the $395 range at one point, down more than 5% from the previous day. Recently, Tesla had been trading around the $420 level, so falling below $400 is psychologically important. But in my view, this was not only about Tesla itself. This looks more like a combination of macro pressure, tech weakness, and investor positioning all hitting Tesla at the same time. The biggest reason behind today's move was the US jobs report. May non-farm payrolls came in stronger than expected, and that made the market think the labor market is still strong. Normally, strong jobs data sounds positive, but for growth stocks, it can actually become a problem. If the economy is still strong, the Federal Reserve may not need to cut interest rates quickly. And if interest rates stay higher for longer, high growth stocks like Tesla tend to face pressure. Tesla is not valued only as a car company. A big part of its valuation comes from future growth in autonomy, Robotaxi, AI, and energy. So when interest rate expectations move higher, Tesla can get hit harder than ordinary companies. There was also weakness across AI and tech stocks. Names like Nvidia and Broadcom have recently shown pressure, and Tesla is increasingly traded as part of the AI and autonomy theme. This is important. The more investors see Tesla as an AI company, the more Tesla can benefit when AI momentum is strong. But the opposite is also true. When AI stocks cool down, Tesla can fall with them, even if Tesla-specific news is not bad. That is the double-edged sword of Tesla's AI narrative. Another factor investors are watching is SpaceX. With SpaceX potentially becoming one of the most exciting IPO stories in the market, some investors may be thinking about shifting money from Tesla into SpaceX. Now, I don't think we can say this was the main reason for today's drop, but it may be one more pressure point. For short-term traders, capital rotation matters, but for long-term investors, the bigger question is different. Are Tesla, SpaceX, xAI, and other companies around Elon Musk building separate businesses, or are they slowly becoming parts of one larger future ecosystem? That is the more interesting question to me. Now, here is the interesting part. Tesla fell hard, even though JP Morgan upgraded the stock and raised its price target. At first glance, that sounds strange, but this is why we should not treat every analyst upgrade as an immediate buy signal. What matters here is not that JP Morgan suddenly became extremely bullish. The important point is that one of the more cautious views on Tesla may be becoming less negative. In other words, the bearish Tesla story may be getting harder to defend. But on a day when macro pressure is strong, even positive analyst news may not be enough to support the stock. So I would look at this upgrade as a sentiment shift, not a short-term trading signal. Next, let's talk about Robotaxi. Tesla is reportedly building a new facility in Grand Prairie, Texas. This facility could be used for charging, cleaning, repairs, maintenance, and storage for Tesla-owned autonomous vehicles. And reports suggest it may have space for more than 400 vehicles. This is important because Robotaxi is not only a software story. Yes, FSD is the core technology, but to operate a real Robotaxi network, Tesla needs physical infrastructure. Cars need to be charged, they need to be cleaned, they need to be maintained, they need places to go when they are not in service. So when I see news like this, I see it as a sign that Tesla may be preparing for real world operations, not just demonstrations. For investors, this is the kind of quiet infrastructure news that can matter more than flashy headlines. Now, let's move to Model Y demand. Recently, we have seen positive reports from Japan and Australia, and now Model Y is also showing strong performance in South Korea, Hong Kong, and New Zealand. In South Korea, Model Y reportedly became the top-selling vehicle overall, not just the top-selling EV. That is a major point, because recently, a lot of headlines have focused on Tesla weakness, BYD competition, and slowing EV demand, but the global picture is more mixed. Tesla is not strong everywhere, but it is clearly not collapsing everywhere either. The question is, why is Model Y still selling well in some markets? Price is one reason, brand strength is another. The supercharger network also matters. But personally, I think expectations for FSD may also be part of the story. Some buyers may not be buying only today's Model Y. They may be buying the possibility of what that car could become through software. What do you think? Is Model Y demand being driven by price, brand, charging infrastructure, or FSD expectations? Let me know in the comments. Next is Tesla Energy. Reports say SpaceX and XAI are buying large amounts of Tesla megapacks. This is a positive signal for Tesla Energy. AI data centers need enormous amounts of power and they need stable electricity. Megapack is directly connected to that problem. So if AI infrastructure keeps expanding, Tesla Energy could become much more important to the Tesla investment story. But we also need to be careful. SpaceX and XAI are related to Elon Musk. So this is not exactly the same as demand from completely independent outside customers. It is still good news, but investors should separate related company demand from broad market demand. Finally, we need to talk about risk. Tesla is facing a class action lawsuit in Quebec over alleged heat pump failures in cold weather. This may affect tens of thousands of owners. The concern is not only comfort. If heating or defrosting does not work properly in cold weather, that can become a safety issue because visibility may be affected. At this stage, these are allegations, and Tesla's responsibility has not been legally confirmed. But from an owner's point of view, this is still important. Tesla can lead in software, AI, and autonomy, but the basic reliability of the car still matters. For long-term investors, quality risk should not be ignored. So, today's Tesla story is clearly mixed. The stock dropped sharply, mainly because of strong jobs data, higher rate concerns, tech weakness, and possibly some SpaceX-related capital rotation. But at the same time, there were positive signals. JP Morgan's upgrade suggests sentiment may be shifting. Robotaxi infrastructure is moving forward. Model Y demand is still strong in several markets, and Tesla Energy may benefit from the growth of AI infrastructure. But there are also real risks, especially around quality, reliability, and legal issues. So, as a long-term Tesla investor, I would not judge today by one red candle, and I would not judge it by one bullish headline either. The better way is to separate the story into different layers: stock price, vehicle demand, robotaxi progress, energy growth, and quality risk. Tesla is still one of the most complicated companies in the market, but that is also why it remains one of the most important companies to follow. If this breakdown helped you see the bigger picture, please hit the like button and subscribe to Life in the Future. I cover Tesla, AI, energy, and the future of investing every day. Thanks for watching, and let's keep thinking long term. Before we wrap up, let me take a moment to introduce myself. I drive a Tesla Model Y, and at home, I've installed a Tesla Powerwall, so I actually charge my car with solar energy. I truly believe Tesla is shaping the future, and that's why I share the latest news and insights here on this channel. I'm from Japan, but I want to connect with Tesla fans all around the world. That's why I also create an English version of my videos. YouTube now lets you switch the audio into your own language, so you can enjoy it in whatever language you prefer. Most of all, I'd love to connect with Tesla fans everywhere so we can support Tesla together. I also share updates on X, so feel free to follow me there and let's connect. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.